batting 1,000 on the Busch Series. He is 1 for 1. He ran at Texas and he won the race. Now he is back once again in this Penske number 39, and he qualified third. Matt Kenseth in the 17, another one of the so-called bushwhackers with a great qualifying run, second at 129.89 miles per hour. And these guys will be collecting data that they can use tomorrow. Now, a Busch Series regular, a guy who does not run on Cup. It's Jason Leffler in the 32. He had the fastest lap and held off the best of NASCAR as he was the best qualifier tonight. This afternoon, let's take a look at the full grid to see where Jason and everybody else is going to line up when the green flag waves this evening. Now, it's Kurt Busch and Regan Smith in row number 2, J.J. Yaley, Reed Sorensen in row number 3. Mike Wallace is back this week on an interim basis in that one car. Bernie Lamar, Kevin Harvick's young driver, is inside of row number 5 with Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 25 on the outside of that row. On back in the field we go as we take a look at some more qualifiers. Johnny Andretti in the 10 and Denny Hamlin, who, it's amazing to say, Johnny Andretti being a rookie on the Busch Series. Denny Hamlin, a rookie in Cup this year, but a veteran on the Busch Series. McFarlane and Harvick right behind them. Right now, Kevin Harvick is your Busch Series points leader. Mark Martin back in the 6 this week, one of 6 Jack Roush Racing cars that will compete in the Busch Series tonight. This former champion David Green, Jerry Robertson, Kenny Wallace in row number 10. And on back in the field, we take a look at Paul Menard, the veteran. Ken Schrader run and won many races on this track. Ron Hornaday and Greg Biffle behind them. Riggs and Tracy Hines back there as well. Ryan Moore in his first week in the number 38 qualified on the outside of row number 16. Then it's Elliott Sadler, a couple of Cup veterans back there. Michael Waltrip with the number 12, Joel Kaufman back in row number 20. Then it's Danny O'Quinn, Curtis Davis, and Aaron Fike round out your 43 qualifiers for tonight's Busch Series race. Let's get you right down in the garage.
Returns big time to the Valley of the Sun as day turns tonight and temperatures cool down. Nothing can stop the simmering side-by-side feud between Busch Series regular drivers and the big-name Nextel Cup stars who dabble in this series. We're about to find out who has the upper hand and whose hand will grab the checkered flag. It's Busch Series racing on FX just outside Phoenix, Arizona. Cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 90s, high 80s, a little humid out there. But the Hollywood Hotel still one of the cool places to be. And we welcome you trackside here with Jeff Hammond, former crew chief. Chris Myers, it's where America gathers for racing every weekend. Good to see you. Hope you had a nice Easter.
I had a great Easter.
All right, we're ready to go racing. 200 miles tonight, 1 mile flat track. But, you know, this is the 9th Busch Series race of the year, Jeff, and the first 8 have been won by Cup drivers.
Well, they've been dominant so far this year. But right now we're looking at Jason Leffler. He's on the pole for tonight's race. But also there are 5 other Busch regulars in the top 10. So the tide may be turning a little bit. These guys may have had enough of this dominance by the NASCAR regulars. So this week, tonight, it may be the beginning of something new.
And we'll see the Busch brothers in action tonight. Kurt Busch, who won in his very first ever Busch race in his career, back in action and in qualifying just a few moments earlier here in Arizona. He thought he was going to be on the pole. That's him in the yellow car, as you say. There you are. Thank you. But moments later, just a couple of laps later, 5th pole in his career, Jason Leffler on the pole for this race, and Jeannie Zalasko is standing by with Jason.
That somebody was the 78 of Jerry Robertson. And nobody else got collected.
No, he slid right through the middle of them. Nobody hit him. I don't think he's had any damage. He gets it fired up. He should be okay.
And he had a good qualifying run, qualified in 18th position. I'm going to tell you, I think who just barely,
I don't even know where we are.
who barely slid through was Greg Biffle in that 16 car.
Now, he was a guy that had to make the race. So, you know, it wouldn't come as a great surprise that your car is maybe just a little too free, and then maybe
was all checking up.
That was everybody behind him. Yeah, he's so lucky. I was right up in the middle of the field, as you can see.
Like possibly a little help maybe from the 6 car, Mark Martin.
Yeah, it sort of looked that way. It's hard to tell from the angles we've got.
I don't know if he just got loose in front of Mark. That angle there kind of looked that way. I don't know.
From Jamie McMurray as he goes through the grass. Well, Tony, you kind of called it. I mean, lap 1, and there we are already.
Yeah, I hate to say it.
I know.
No, I was just listening. I mean, they were asking me up here what I thought, and I was like, well, you got Daryl down there, and he pretty much knows it all. So I'm sure whatever he said was accurate.
You know why I know it all? I've seen it all.
Well, yeah.
And I've done it all.
I'm sure you have.
All right, here's the deal, Tony. You go ahead and have a nice dinner. Us working men, we're going to keep digging up here.
This is where smoke went for dinner.
Man.
Please tell me it's not.
Man.
Because where there's smoke.
There's fire. This is a brush fire,
right
a couple of miles outside the racetrack here.
Huge.
No joke. Hit for Cleveland.
No doubt about it.
And it happened at turn 2.
But who this caution is a great break for is Johnny Sauter, Mark Green, and Jamie McMurray, who was just a few laps from making that green flag stop. They're still sitting there running in the top 6. Not that they wanted to see anybody have a problem, but they certainly could use this caution.
That early pit stop, that strategy that they used, looks really good right now.
Now, because those drivers were starting to drop like rocks through
Right
the
there,
field.
it's really loose.
Now here's Cleaver. Got Denny Hamlin behind him.
I am assuming there was contact, but it's really hard to tell because there was a gap between them up until. Let's see if we can get a better shot here. It was mighty close. Yeah, just enough to turn him. Yeah,
Doesn't take much.
I tell you, you can see Denny had the brakes all lit up. The rotors are just glowing.
Talked about some boys that are happy about this caution. Jamie McMurray's 64 crew, they're back in sync now, sitting there running in the top 10. And I've got to believe that we're approaching the halfway point of this race. Some of the cars that made early stops in that green flag situation, we may see them possibly hit pit road.
Were those guys cheering because of what happened or because they have the best view in the house besides us? It's hard from this shot to see how massive this pit box really is. Now, this shows a little better. I mean, this, you could sell this as a condominium, I think, and get good money for it.
Yeah, it's a family style right there.
It's big.
And guys, our leader, Clint Boyer, in the 2 car, he is on pit road.
Jeannie.
Yeah, I
just got shoved up out of the groove in the loose stuff, Mike.
Well, they're trying to go about 3 wide through these corners right now after this restart. That's Scott Riggs in the 9 right there.
Shaking the car to see if maybe he's got a tire problem.
Well, he probably got stuff on the tires when he was up that high. Makes it feel like he's got a flat tire.
And here's what happens to Boyer.
Oh, yeah, he gets a yikes.
Yeah.
He got that left front fender. Just not sure how much damage he may have got to it as he ran up on the back of Aaron Fike in the 43.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get a fast car back in the pack like that. What did he say, Jeannie?
Well,
working underneath the 33 of Kenny Schrader.
Actually, Ron Hornaday in the 33.
Yeah,
remember, he's
Hornaday's a lap down. The 5 car just gets down on the apron. Thing starts to get loose with him, and he just walks right up into the side of Hornaday. And poor old Casey Mears, who's trapped on the outside because of Jamie McMurray in the 64, has nowhere to go.
Couldn't get stopped either. I don't know that there's a whole lot of damage to the 40T. Just went there, just kind of kissed the 5 cars left front.
Yeah.
5 just gets in there underneath the 33, and he gets down on the apron, and it gets loose, and he walks right up into the side of the 33 car of Hornaday.
People may ask, why was Ron Hornaday racing that hard 1 lap down? Again, you're trying to become the first car a lap down behind the leader. If we get a caution, you get the free pass. So there's a race within the race.
There's a guy talking about a race that just won one.
Off pit road.
1 to go. 1 to go to get there.
So let's get an update on pit stops, beginning with Steve.
Mike Hamlin in the 20. Looks like Jerry Robertson in the 78 car. Remember, Hamlin comes in here second in the points behind Kevin Harvick.
Come on around.
That bad boy is torn up. I don't even think he's got a left rear wheel on it.
And that's turn 2 again.
4 stickers.
Look at those cars. They are pretty well used up, both of them.
Dick Bergman.
Well, Hamlin was on his way into the pits. Denny Hamlin was, thought he had a flat tire, a tire going down, and he was going to come in on that exact lap that the accident occurred.
I believe he did, Dick. I believe his left rear tire must have been going flat.
Yeah, that car is all kinds of sideways in the rear end.
Yeah, see, he's out of control. I mean, he loses it back there in the middle of the corner, slides right up in front of.
Nowhere for Jerry Robertson in the 78 to go, but this caution will be good news for Paul Menard. We talked about cars fighting to get back on the lead lap. He'll get the free pass. He's back on it.
That knocked the rear end of Hamlin's car about 4 or 5 inches to the right and maybe out of this race. He was not the first car to spin there.
No, he spun
sideways.
I think somebody spun or got in trouble in front of him. He spun
Yes.
to slow him down or to miss him.
And he was still on the lead lap in his 25 car.
From Greg Biffle, that's the one of Mike Wallace ahead.
He goes up the hill here. The one does. He gets loose.
Stay low there. Clear.
And the 25, I don't know.
Behind you.
Well, if he jumped on the brake or
Caution will be
what?
out.
Something happened there that didn't really add up.
Had a good run in Nashville last week, finished 11th, making his 200th career start here tonight in the Busch Series.
Free pass, Michael Waltrip.
Hey, Mikey, get that dream machine back up there.
Not sure these two here, Greg Biffle in the 16, Mike Wallace in the 1.
Okay, road is open. Open.
A lot of takers.
Got a few takers here. Start with Reed Sorensen in the 41, Matt Kenseth in the 17, Edwards in the 60.
Sauter and the 00 come in. And let's start with Steve.
Mike Reed smoking.
Nowhere for Johnny Sauter in the 00 to go.
Still nowhere for anybody to go.
As Scott Riggs in the 9 pulls up there. But there's no question that's a caution that Matt Kenseth in the 17 and Kurt Busch in the 39. They were actually right behind John Andretti. You see the right front tire down on Scott Riggs in the 9 car, still on the lead lap. There's John Andretti in the 10, who was running in the 10th position.
Yeah,
They'll be done with this
all those cars were running very well.
Yeah, Sauter was 12th. Matt Kenseth gets through this somehow. That's how, right there.
And there goes Kurt right along with him. And then the 10 just comes right back up in front of Johnny Sauter, who clips the 9 of Scott Riggs. And these guys here are almost in it.
Stacy Compton might have got a little damage from that. Oh, contact with Casey Mears.
Well, John got down on the apron trying to get under Casey Mears. Yeah. There just wasn't really a lot of room.
And we've seen that a couple, 3 times tonight.
All 3 drivers are okay. Moving around and drop the window nets and getting ready to get out. From our super slow motion camera, the Exmo 1,000 frames per second.
Look at that left rear and that left front of that. The left rear of the 10 goes way up in there. The left front goes way back in the 00. Spins him around. The impact of that 00 into the 10. Look how it just spun that car all the way around the 10 car from the impact.
360 degrees.
Now let's, as this plays out, see one more look here from Greg Biffle.
Now you're going to see the 10 car up here. He's going to try to get under. Got the nose down there.
Pit road is closed right now. What they're going to do is bring the cars down pit road where they can clean up turn 4. The pit road is officially closed right now.
Let's go back to the previous caution where Kurt Busch came in to change a flat tire. The driver voted least likely to send Kurt Busch a Christmas card. Helped out on that, Jeannie.
Yeah, you know, Kevin Harvick, always the good Samaritan, always looking out for others. It was Mr. Harvick who felt compelled to warn fellow Childress teammate Clint Boyer, be careful on the restart. The 39 has a rear tire going down. Can't you just imagine the chuckle as he passed the information along?
Well, I can also imagine that, you know, we're not the only one that listen in to what these cats have to say. That probably was a wake-up call to the crew chief on the 39. Say, hey, dude, you don't have a left rear going down, do you? So, yeah, it helped his teammate because he didn't want him to get involved, but it may have even, you know, turned out to help Kurt Busch, obviously.
Car spins him out. Caution will wave again here with 16 laps to go.
8th caution flag tonight.
I was just going to say, if you got them, use them, but I didn't mean the bumpers.
No.
Guys are racing for position right here.
Yeah, Menard had made a good recovery. He was up there in 7th, 8th place, and he just got in the back of JJ getting down into turn 1.
Just barely kissed the outside wall. Not bad at all.
It's just the pressure that the Menard felt coming from Kenseth and Busch. He knew they were back there. He was trying to get going, and
right there in front of Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth.
Well, they've been lucky.
Now, Kurt Busch had passed Kenseth in the front straightaway, closing on Menard, who sends Yaley to the turn 1 wall.
Pretty light contact on the 18. I think other than losing a number of positions, I think he's going to be able to continue. That's some consolation, I guess.
And the free pass car will be Bernie Lamar on this caution. Jeannie?
I can tell you that Johnny Sauter, involved in the last caution that came out, is physically doing okay because I watched him walk in and out of the care center. But mentally, I got to imagine this is extremely frustrating. We watched you throughout the race and saw the potential success and saw how good this team was working together.
Yellow Monte Carlo is probably one of the worst cars I ever drove. Brand new car. It's not a lack of effort. I mean, these guys worked really hard on it. Harold Holly and all the guys. It just, you know, I pride myself on being a good flat track driver, but this car was just terrible tonight. And to be able to get a top 10 out of it, I was going to be really happy. But there's nothing I could do. 10 car spun, and I think there was a guy on the inside outside of me, and still had a decent enough momentum there, and just got into him and ended our day early. So that's the way it goes.
I know you're frustrated. Thanks for taking the time.
But those. That's actually Leffler's 32 car. There's Menard in the 11 car, and they start stacking up behind him. Caution will wave.
Yeah, I thought it was Mark, but it was the 32 car. Dadgone, I feel bad for that boy. They have had such a great run all night.
Menard with damage just when we thought we might see a non-Cup driver win a Busch race for the first time this season.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Around goes Leffler. Let's see how this got started.
There's some contact here. Let's see who does it. Boyer's right there. Gives him a shot.
He was a little bit loose anyhow. It didn't take much of a shot to turn him around.
Boy, look at Matt Kenseth barely squeezing through there.
This will pretty much tell it right here.
Just that little, you hear that little, remember how we've talked about how fast he is through the center of the corner, how he rolls out early and gassed it hard in the middle. He went for the gas, but there was somebody in his way.
Now here's what happens to Menard. He's outside John Wood in the Bashas 47 and Kurt Busch.
Well, that's all because of what happened in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I give Kurt a pass on that.
Yeah.
He was slowing down.
Menard checked up because he saw Leffler sideways.
Light contact, but still it spun him around.
See Leffler on pit road trying to repair the damage on that left front, 4 tires.
Now he is still on the lead lap, but he is 22nd right now, Steve.
And Mike, the problem for Jason Leffler, he said he had gotten a little bit tight in turns 3 and 4 where he had been so good earlier in the race. After he hit the wall, he said, boys, I just got spun out.
And if he was a little tight, that enabled Clint Boyer, I'm sure, to pick the throttle up a lot earlier.
Well, you could just hear Clint back to the throttle, but he got right into the back of him, spun him around.
David Gilliland gets the free pass, the caution out here, and we'll be right back to finish this off in Phoenix.
Side. They're clear by 1.
4 laps to go. And it's all Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Reed Sorensen looks like he's turned the wick up here, Larry. Of these cars that are chasing Harvick, he's making the biggest moves. These other guys just can't get going. Mark's got the 60 car on the outside of him. Whoa, he squeezed through there. Whoa.
He's going to go ahead and drive it down into turn 3, try to take this position away.
I believe he'll get him on the outside here, making some pretty good moves around the outside. Here comes Kurt Busch around the outside of Mark Martin.
Mark's going to lose 2 positions, 3 laps to go.
Right behind them, teammates battle side by side. Here they are, Biffle in 16, Kenseth in 17, 1 car to the wall, turn 1. Compton doesn't hit it.
He's in trouble down here, big trouble down here. And he took the 2 car with him. How many times do you see that happen?
Clint Bowyer and Jamie McMurray, with 3 laps to go, bring out the 10th caution flag of the night. Is it a full moon out? It's sure acting like it.
Well, obviously, when it became night and the moon was out, all of a sudden we started having all this happen.
That's the way Phoenix is. This is the way I always remember Phoenix. Yep. Clean racing until you get inside about 15, 20 to go. Then all these cautions cause all these wrecks.
And it's David Gilliland in 84 who bounces off the wall off of Ryan Moore and has trouble all the way down to turn 1.
Here comes the 2 car. Watch the 2 car. He's got nowhere to go when they get down here.
We'll ride with him here.
You got to really feel sorry for Clint.
Still out there right in front of you. You know, track has got one coming across the middle. All right, buddy.
He just didn't realize there's no way that 84 car was going to turn.
All right, buddy. No one's behind you. Keep going there.
Just should have, you know, the 84 car was not going to turn with the damage it had. If he'd have dove to the inside, he'd have been fine.
But that car wouldn't steer.
No, you can see his right front. And you pretty well know he's going to go straight when he gets to the corner.
There might have been contact with Stacy Compton into the back of Bowyer before they even got to Gilliland.
That may be why he couldn't get to the bottom. He got contact and he couldn't turn down.
They're both trying to get down, but can't.
What a shame.
So Clint Bowyer, 20 laps ago, was up to 2nd in the point standings. Now he's 3rd, 295 points out.
And had a car that more than likely could have won the race. Certainly would have finished 2nd to his teammate.
Now he can cruise around in the 2-lap shootout that we'll have and stay on the end of the lead lap in 22nd place. It's all on Saturday here in Phoenix.
Well, talk about surviving. Now, Kyle Busch in the 5 car, look at the damage on this race car. Look at the spoiler back there, the left rear corner. But he is on the brink of breaking back into the top 10. Right now, he is in the 11th spot. And remember, this is a car that's battling for the Busch Series Championship.
He's got a little damage. He's light damage from contact with the 11 car.
Right behind Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he's in 12th place after getting almost knocked out of the race. So the Bashas Supermarket 200 is going to become about the Bashas 205 or 206 or...
There's a lot of bashing going on here. I know that.
And how about behind Yaley? Michael Waltrip in the 99 car. I mean, qualified deep in the field, got lapped, got the free pass. He's up there in the 13th position.
And while we're on what about those, what about Danny O'Quinn?
Well, one of the reasons he's up there, he was one of those cars early in the race that went with the strategy of pitting on lap 17, kept the track position, and the strategy worked out. He's been able to stay on the lead lap now.
Well, plus he's one of those cars that hasn't hardly hit anything.
A lot.
And there aren't many of those.
While we're doing all this what if, and there's no issues here with fuel, is there?
Shouldn't be.
Because we're going into the lap 202.
We've had a lot of cautions.
Yeah, we have had.
Jason Leffler started on the pole, led more laps than he has led in any race in his career. He has one Busch Series win in which he led, I think, 40 laps. He led, or maybe it was 60 laps. He led 78 tonight. He led 60 laps when he got his win. He's led 78 tonight. Got thumped and dumped in a collision with Clint Bowyer. Bowyer ended up going going to the back, and Leffler saw his chances to win evaporate. But folks, it's not over yet. As you watch from our aerial coverage, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company airship reminding you to travel with peace of mind. Goodyear's Forterra tire featuring silent armor technology. Dick Berggren.
Eric Cattell is Carl Edwards, crew chief. You're in third spot, green-white-checker. Your boy going to do it?
Yeah, if anybody could do it, Carl Edwards can. This will be fun.
All right, very good. He said about 10 laps ago he thought he could win this thing, Mike.
I believe that 41 car might have a little something to say about that. Reed Sorensen's had a great night.
And remember, Reed Sorensen and Carl Edwards, Steve Burns, they have 30 laps less on their tires than Kevin Harvick in the 21.
It's pretty clean for that young man, having a great night. Could have won Nashville last week. Very similar situation. Chasing down Kevin Harvick. Right at the end of the race, Reed had a flat tire. But here he is tonight with a chance to maybe redeem himself a little bit.
This team definitely turning their season around.
Oh, you know Brian Patty will get it going sooner or later.
Sorensen will leave here probably 12th in the points. That'll be a pickup of 5 spots. Here we go. 2 laps.
Good restart for Reed. He's right there. And here comes Kurt around the outside. Not second thought, won't do it. Trying to get under Carl right there. Tight. Ooh, couldn't quite squeeze by.
McMurray bumped David Green, and McMurray slides back behind Casey Mears. That's about 9th spot. A lot of good battles. Leffler slows in the backstretch.
White flag this time.
White flag is out, and looks like I don't think Reed or I think anybody's got anything but that 21 car. Kevin is doing a whale of a job.
Harvick trying to twofer.
Car's so good, right? Again, kind of like his teammates was, right through the center of the corner. Really picks the throttle up quick and goes hard.
Kurt Busch, the cautions helped him. He's up to 4th. Edwards is 3rd. Sorensen 2nd. Kevin Harvick, 5 top 5s in 8 races. Here he comes to the checkered flag. Harvick wins the Bashas 200.
And his points lead's going to go from 156 to almost 300 points leaving here.
You know what? This is really good for Harvick, too, because think about some of those races where you might not be able to make both races in the same weekend. He could actually end up having a chance to miss a race without losing the point lead.
It's his 2nd win of the season, but it's his team's 3rd win. Remember, they won Atlanta with Jeff Burton, so they've won a 1/3 of the races with this 21 team.
So the Coast Guard brings it home. 2nd straight win for Harvick. 8 top 10s in 9 races. It's his 19th NASCAR Busch Series victory, putting him 10th on the all-time list. Kevin Harvick lights him up as fireworks light up the night sky. We'll be right back.